What's going on, guys? It is Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and another video regarding F1 2017 and a bit more news coming out today. And basically all the classic cars have now officially been announced for the game this year, and this is good news for various reasons. The main one being that even though the classics have really stepped up this year and things are looking really promising, the main thing is the next bit of news has to be F1 2017 actual games and season related. So that's very good news for us. And also we're going to just basically focus in this video on all the classics that have been announced thus far up to this moment. So we have a good variety and also a good option of cars that span across a grand total of 20 years. So 22 years. So a lot of different options here for the classic cars, and we begin in 1988 with the McLaren MP4 and we end off with the Red Bull RB6 on the 2010 season. So 22 years worth of classic cars and classic content in this year's game. And I'll say straight off the bat, even though I was a bit skeptical at first, the classics have been absolutely nailed this year, and they're much better than when they originally did them back in F1 2013. This year around, they've really put a lot of focus into them, and they do feature some of the best looking and most favourite cars on the F1 grid. Personally, my favourite car, the one which we'll see on screen, the F2004 Ferrari, my all-time favourite car. But overall, the classics, like I said, one of the main features in this game, and the fact they've all been announced now, is a great thing, because we can now look towards the future. And I'm also on the beta test, so I'm testing things out. I can't say what I'm testing, how things are going, but all we can say right now, and all we can basically assume right now, is that the next thing announced will be 2017 news and gameplay. We did see last week a little brief video I did upload regarding Max Verstappen and some gameplay around Silverstone, and also we saw a few screenshots a couple of weeks ago from the RB13 and also the Torso from this season. But other than that, we had a very little F1 2017. Hopefully this marks the beginning now of a fresh new chapter and loads of tasty new content. But overall, all the classics have been announced. How do you guys feel about them in the comments down below? I want to know your thoughts on the classic cars, and also now, what are you expecting from the game itself, and how excited are you for the F1 2017 game? Obviously now, as I'm speaking, there's basically a month until the game gets announced, or sorry, released, because the game comes out on the 25th of August, and I'm doing this commentary on the 20th of July, so there's just over a month left until the game comes out. So it's very exciting times now if you're an F1 fan. But once again, we're going to focus back on these classic cars and have one sort of like recap of what's going on here. So basically, we're going to start with the 1988 McLaren MP4 piloted at the wheel by Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, the two fierce rivals who went to war. And this was the last turbo car until the 2014 hybrid era cars became available to us. So this was the last turbo for almost 3 decades, and it was a very dominant car. Then closely followed by the 1991 McLaren MP4-6, and it was the last car that Senna won a World Drivers' Championship in. So a very iconic and legendary car for that particular reason. Also another car where also Senna and Prost went to war, I believe in. So as you can see, that's the 1991 McLaren. And then the 1992 Williams, the FW14B, famous for its active suspension, the car that sort of was very controversial at its time because it was so dominant, driven by Nigel Mansell and Riccardo Patrese due to this active suspension system on the car, which made them dominate the season and win loads of races. Then over to the 1995 Ferrari F412 T2, and it's basically famous for being the last V12 car of its era before the V10s, and the 1995 car won one race in that season, piloted at the wheel by John Alesi and Gerhard Berger. Then moving on to the 1996 Williams FW and FW16. As you can see, it's a very infamous and famous car, and it's driven by Damon Hill and a debuting Jacques Villeneuve, who in that year Damon Hill won the World Championship. Then the 1998 McLaren MP4-30, as you can see there, piloted by Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard, a car that Mika Hakkinen won his first of 2 world titles in the 1998 season. Then moving to the 2002 Ferrari, one of the most dominant cars on the grid, and this was piloted by obviously Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello in the 2002 season, and one of the cars that dominated most of the races, and an outright very famous car. And also the one following that, the 2004 Ferrari, a very dominant car, wrapping up the World Championship by Spa in that season, driven by Michael Schumacher and once again Rubens Barrichello, the elite pairing of those two driving the prancing horse for that season, and personally my favourite car of all time in F1, so I'm very glad I'm driving that car in F1 2017. Then we have the 2006 Renault, the R26, driven by Fernando Alonso and Giancarlo Fisichella, and the one where Alonso won his last World Championship to date, so almost 11 years ago now, and a very iconic car indeed. Then moving on to 2007 Ferrari, the one where Kimi Räikkönen won his first and only World Drivers' Championship, stealing it from underneath the noses of both of the McLaren drivers in that very epic season in the last race, where basically it was a McLaren civil war and Kimi stole it right underneath their noses right on the last race of the season. They're winning it by a single point. And then in 2008 McLaren, famous for obviously is that Glock moment in Brazil where Hamilton won his first World Championship in the McLaren team, and that was the last car of its kind before we had a massive reg change in 2009, and now finally we have the RB6 from the 2010 season, which was famous because Vettel won his first World Championship. So all these cars famous for winning respective championships in respective seasons and respective other reasons. But hopefully you guys are looking forward to the classics. Are you guys looking forward to F1 2017? Let me know in the comments down below. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. I may have got one or two of my facts wrong, but I'm saying these off the top of my head, so if I missed something out then I do apologise. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, then a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you could sub to my channel for future F1 content, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But I thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.